Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute. It has been a minute and we're going to get into the whys and what all happened. The big part is surprise, I had a baby. Most of you did not know. So in this video I figured I have a bunch of cheat sheets here because this is my new setup since having the baby. But basically today I'm going to catch you up with everything from where I was last to where I am now. As you guys know, I was scaling the business to become more full-time, and we're going to talk about why we haven't gotten there yet. And there was a lot that has happened. So let's go ahead and get into this whole story of where I've been, what's been going on, and what's happening from here with the business. So last year, kind of back towards when I started the channel, I had plans to go more full-time. At that time, I had just 2 kids who are older and more independent. When I say older, we're not talking like teenagers. We're talking about elementary school ages where they can cook for themselves. They can do pretty much everything themselves. So that gave me more time to be able to work while they're home. If you don't know, I also homeschool. So we're a family who homeschools, kind of does everything from home, works from home, all of those sorts of things. So we had a really nice rhythm where I was able to get work done. They were able to get their homeschool done. We were able to get the cleaning, you know, like we were on top of things. So yes, I had this whole plan to go full-time with it and to, if you don't know, this whole reselling thing has been more supplemental for our family, a part-time thing, while my main focus is my children. But with them getting older, I had the availability and opportunity to grow. So with all that being said, there's kind of that whole thing where you say like, what is it? Make plans and God laughs or whatever. So like I had this whole plan figured out and then boom, life hits, right? Not just a kid. There was a whole bunch. Also, like I always say in my videos, guys, I have a family in this house, okay? There are kids running around. There's a dog, a husband, obviously a new baby. So, like, you're going to hear things probably in this video. The house doesn't stop just because I'm filming. So, we'll go back to kind of the time where I was doing a video interview with Kaylee Elaine. I will link that down below in case you haven't seen it. That will get you kind of up to date with everything back then. When I look back on the video, I think I got some of my stats wrong just off the top of the head. So some of those stats are off, but yes, I was doing very successful part-time work that was growing quite well. At that time, I had grown from posting 5 items per day up to 10 items per day, and that gave my business about a 5% increase in profits and everything per month. It was just the business growth in general was about 5% per month with me doing this new plan to go full-time. And basically what I did was I added 1 new item per month. So we went from 5 items listed per day to 6 items listed per day to 7 items listed per day up to 10. And that's kind of where I was at when life happened. So with that being said, I was sourcing about 310 items per month in order to meet that goal very regularly. Also at this time, my kids were getting paid to help me with the business, which they help me with shipping, they help me with, they don't help me with any of the upfront stuff, it's more the back end. So after things have been photographed and everything, they help with getting the things stored away and then pulling them out for shipping, helping me with the shipping, getting them to the post office, all of those sorts of things they were helping with, and I pay them for that. I was also working solo, so it was just me, other than the kids, obviously. The kids I wouldn't say were employees because really they slow you down, right? But it's me teaching them a life skill, giving them something to look forward to, how to do a job, making money, kind of part of our life skills for homeschooling. So it was almost more like an allowance in a sense, right? Because they're doing work and then they're getting paid for it. I don't know, I guess it depends on what your idea of allowance is. Some people just give money to their kids per month or whatever, but my kids, we do make them work for it. So that's kind of where we were at with everything. And then late winter, early spring hit. And this is when I just felt like my whole world just went crazy, okay? I'm not going to get into all the details. The only thing we're really going to talk about is my pregnancy. But just know, like, there were just family situations that were out of my control that started to happen. There were other situations it was a lot of things out of my control that just hit all at once, really causing me to kind of go into a mental panic mode. And also becoming pregnant, being surprised by that. So there were those 2 things. Now the reason why the pregnancy was a big deal is 1, this pregnancy was really rough on me. So with my other 2, I was still able to like work and do all my regular things. I had some nausea and tiredness, but like it was nothing above and beyond. But this baby specifically, I was pretty much asleep all the time. I could not keep my eyes open. It felt like almost like when you are, think of like when you come out of surgery and you're kind of groggy and you keep opening your eyes and having like moments where your things are changing in the room. And that's what I felt like I was that tired. And the sickness actually started at like week 3. I'm not even kidding. Like week 3 of pregnancy, that's how we kind of figured it out, was week 3 I was already sick. So that's a big deal. If you know pregnancy and timelines, usually you don't get symptoms till at 4 weeks or way later. Week 3 I was already sick. So on top of that, I did have some pregnancy issues come up, and I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of that, but there was a hospitalization that happened. There was worry of whether or not baby would make it. There was worry about how I was going to handle, my body was going to be able to handle this situation. It was something that is considered technically common. However, I had a severe version of it. So with it being a severe version of it, it was a lot scarier. So with that happening, there was a lot going on mentally for me. So we have all these things outside of my control happening. And then we have this baby that I'm just trying to my best to like keep alive. I'm on bed rest for, I was on bed rest for, I don't know, like the first trimester and some of the second trimester. So a good portion of the time I was basically on bed rest. I was not allowed to lift anything, which is a big deal in reselling, right? Especially if you do the totes type of storage. Like I have the totes and I have to pull them and move them around and everything. So a lot of things got put on hold. I couldn't go outsourcing without help. I had to have someone with me to do the lifting. It was very serious. Like I really could not lift anything. So even like the racks, my sister had to come with me the times I could source, and she would push the racks down so I could pull them one by one and look at the hangers. Going to the bins, I had to go buy a grandma cart, like, you know, those shopping carts. I call them grandma carts because that's what we called them back in the 90s. But yeah, it's one of those shopping carts that are collapsible, and in order for me to shop at the bins, that's what I had to use so I could roll it around, because we don't have a lot of carts. It's very normal to see people like carrying heavy things full of clothing. I couldn't do that. I had to bring my own way to carry everything. So yeah, there was a lot going on. So, you know, you kind of get the gist. I got mentally very worried about all this stuff going on, and physically I really can't do much. That really caused a huge slowdown in my business. Like really, really slow. And because of all this, I began to mess up things in the business, especially with putting things away. I was starting to miss photos that I usually take. So there's things without measurements. I forgot to write down where I stored it. So then we have the issue of trying to go find things that are lost, basically. I became extremely inconsistent in sourcing and listing, everything like that. I was really, really, really struggling. And I will say that this was a time, and this is not a sponsored video, though I do work with this company. This video itself is not sponsored, but I genuinely believe in the product. But at this time, this is when I'm using Prime Lister to handle my cross listing and my Poshmark closet stuff, and this really like came through for me, and that's why I'm pretty loyal to the company at this point. My contract with them as far as being sponsored is coming to an end soon. But I definitely think they are an amazing company. They've been great to work with behind the scenes. I don't want to put names out there, but there is somebody specifically who has been amazing to work with. But yeah, Prime Lister came through for me. Okay, guys, so if you're someone like me that's got a lot going on, okay, especially us moms, you need to consider a software that helps you handle it all, because if it wasn't for that, Poshmark would have been dead, and I wouldn't have been able to get things cross-listed so well, because I was using, what's it called, Flip. And Flip is just, it's not a horrible product, but I just felt like there was so much work to get it to work that it wasn't worth it anymore. And when Prime Lister came along, it took away a lot of that extra, all the extra steps I had to take with Flip, because the way it works is cloud-based, so like you can walk away and not worry about it. So because of that, Prime Lister was a huge part of just keeping some sort of consistency going for me on the Poshmark side. Now eBay, obviously I still had to do work. So I was really struggling at this point, and I was trying to think of what the heck to do. How could I get back to being consistent and getting my business afloat again, right? This is where my sister comes in. I actually had a conversation with Kaylee Lane before going to her. Kaylee Lane is, her channel will be down below. I'll try my best to link it, but she is someone who has a lot of wisdom as far as the business is concerned. So I went to her and said, hey, I'm thinking about hiring my sister. What do you think? She had a lot of insight herself as someone who has had her sister work for her. So for that reason, I learned a lot of great stuff from her. So my sister and I came to an agreement. Now at the time, I didn't know my sister was actually thinking of approaching me for the same thing. She resells herself. I taught her how to resell, but she wasn't enjoying part of it. So she feels like the part she needs to work on is like sourcing and knowing what to get, all that kind of stuff. But on the back end, she's great. Like, she's fine with, like, she'll take the photos, the measurements, put the thing away, do all that. Like, she's good at that part. I feel like I'm good at the sourcing, the listing, and I'm not the greatest, especially at this time with everything going on, at everything else. So she herself was thinking of doing the same thing, coming to me to talk about this exact same thing. So we were mutually under the same understanding that I would do more of the front end and she would do more of the back end. She had no desire to become a business partner. She was okay with just being an employee. So we have an understanding between each other about payment, all that sort of stuff at this point. And this was this the summer? I think this was like the summer. And she proved to be right away really great. She picked up on where I was messing up. She was like, hey, around this time you were messing up a lot of stuff. That's when all the stuff was happening early on. And she has tried her best to help come fix some of that. So yes, at this point we had an understanding that she would be a trial run employee. We will do this till the end of the year, just to see how it goes. We're sisters, so naturally there are things that we will bump heads about and argue about, and then in some ways we do great together. So we were like, we don't know how this will work, so let's make sure it's a good fit before you shut down your store, because the plan was eventually she would like to shut down her store and merge it into mine, and that's how we would work. Hiring my sister ends up being the best business decision I could make last year. She is a hard worker. She can spot trouble areas. She is willing to pick up the load when I was having trouble, probably because out of compassion, I'm her sister, so she was like, I'm gonna help her out. So there are areas where she went above and beyond because I just wasn't able to physically do those things or mentally do those things. So it has been the best asset last year, and I know she's gonna probably brag about it or say something smart alecky to me watching this video, but she was honestly the best thing I could have done last year for the business. So yes, like I said, I did everything up front and then she would do everything on the back end. So it seems to be working out much better. There are some kinks still, of course, to work out like any business, but for the most part, it is working great. Now, we did continue this process through the end of the year. However, consistency was not there, not because of her, but because I had so much trouble sourcing. And we didn't want to take items from her store and merge them in until the new year, when we knew for sure, like, we've worked together for X amount of time, we know we can do this. So we didn't move anything from her store. We just had a lot of trouble getting things listed. So at that time it was still very inconsistent, but I was still paying her to do her work. It was still staying afloat. Thanks in large part to her. So the new year comes and we still decide we're not going to merge the stores just yet. We're going to wait until baby comes, because then we would have quite a bit of things to list while I'm on a maternity leave. Yes, I gave myself a maternity leave from the business in a sense. So yes, still January, not merged, still trying to be consistent, but not fully there. So baby comes February, and this is when we have decided we work together, we're going to merge everything else. I did also have a death pile. We literally saved the death pile purposely for this time. At this point, we're like, we're already inconsistent. Let's just save everything for the maternity leave, find a good system, and just start listing everything. That way I get plenty of time home with baby. With doing that, I've had four-ish months without having to work. I still did some light work, and that supplied us enough things to list 5 items per day. Between my sister's store and my death pile, we still have plenty of stuff. Okay, so I'm still very light-handedly going out and getting things that are new because we have plenty here to list still. We have hundreds of items, to be honest. So we are kind of wrapping up those things that we have to list, but yeah, that's where we're at. So I think we played it really smart doing that. And with doing this, my sister, once again, she really came through and like kept everything afloat and went above and beyond, because I was trying to adjust to new baby, having 3 kids, homeschooling again, figuring out how to clean, how to even take care of myself. Not to mention I'm married. I gotta also, you know, still be present in my marriage. Like, it was so much going on. My sister is extremely compassionate to the situation, and she has been amazing. So once again, she's probably still the best thing I've done this year alone too. With all that being said, I did forget to mention that when baby came, baby ended up being a NICU baby. I don't want to get into the details, but it wasn't that long of a time. It was a shorter time frame, but still is a NICU stay, which is quite scary for any parent to have to go through. And then on top of that, you bring them home, and because you've been through NICU, they're just this little frail thing in your mind, and you baby them extra because of it. So there was extra time of me mentally not being able to like work. And once again, my sister came through for that reason too. So yes, we had continued supportive care for baby at home as he got stronger. He's great, by the way. Baby is great, doing fine. It was just that stint of an issue in the NICU. Once they got that under control, he has been phenomenal and growing and getting so strong. He is doing amazing. So yes, come February, my sister closes her business, like I said, and starts merging into my store. We continue to list 5 items per day up until this month. This month we're at 6 items per day. So we're finally finding a good groove where we can once again start to expand the business and grow and try to make more money so that eventually she will become a full-time employee under me and I will be able to make more of a full-time income as well. So that's our plan at this time, and we will continue to grow 1 item per month right now. So like this month, like I said, 6 items. So come July we're going to post 7 items, August 8 items. My goal is to get up to 15 items and see what it looks like from there. And then also at this point my husband may come in as supportive. I don't want to call him employee because he wouldn't I don't know if he would be an employee, but you get the point. Like he would come in and help us, and that would, you know, make more money for the business having the 3rd person. So yeah, my husband and I have combined income. We consider everything combined. So that's why I don't know if you'd call him an employee, because it just means that I make more money, which goes into our money. So that is a possibility. It's not set in stone that he will help, but it is something we are looking at in order to really see how to grow the business. So yes, we're finally at a point where I feel like we're finding a really good rhythm for working. I'm starting to pick up the slack that I was slacking, so my sister isn't doing so much. Sourcing's still a bit iffy with a baby who feeds every 2 to 3 hours, right? That's a lot on me. So I have to be very, very specific about when I source and how I source, because it's me, the baby, and my 2 daughters. We do have an understanding. My 2 daughters help with the baby, and I do believe in paying my kids for doing things that adults. Okay, sorry, the camera overheated, so I had to give it a break. But as I was saying, we believe in giving our children compensation for anything they do that is not what children do. So regarding work, that's when I pay them. So when they help with baby while I'm thrifting, which they love to do, by the way, they do get compensated. Because I think that's fair. Things like your regular household chores, no, you don't get paid for, because that's just part of contributing to the family, but you are not a parent, so you definitely get paid to help with being a parent. So yeah, we're still working on what sourcing looks like, and I know that will get easier with time, especially once he starts eating solids and it requires less out of me for feeding. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. Filming is still iffy. It is still iffy. It's really hard to be able to sit down and film without a baby. My baby's a very demanding baby, so when I have him, you know he's present. He's loud and in my face. So filming is still something that's hard to figure out. But my husband is a great husband. He's a supportive husband, so he's willing to try his best to help me when he isn't working himself. He works full-time, so he's gone a lot. But yeah, so I'm trying my best to get back to filming. Obviously, give me some grace with that. But yeah, as far as listing goes, we found a good groove so far. And then regarding sourcing, like I explained. So yeah, that's where we're at currently. So finding consistency again, getting into a better mental and physical space, though finding time to exercise is hard. And you know, I got postpartum, we're at the point where I got postpartum hair loss. It's hard for me to find time to work out to try to get some of the baby weight off, all those kind of things. But I'm figuring it out as I go, because you guys know, like, even if you're not doing all the same things, you know, like, it's hard. It is so hard to be able to work, especially if you're self-employed, take care of children who stay home with you, especially all day, homeschool, take care of your own regular, like, grooming and maintenance, household cleaning and chores, time with your spouse, other events outside of the home that are taking, like, there's always so much going on. So I'm just trying to figure out how to balance, even though balance is not a real thing. I'm just trying to figure out how to balance it all. But yes, so that's the plan, is to continue to grow the business, eventually bring my sister on full time with me. I have a full-time income, she has a full-time income. Eventually husband may come help as well. That is a possibility, and continue to teach my kids, and eventually they will be employees if they prefer, if they want. Obviously everything's a choice, but especially my oldest, she loves it. She makes money working with me, so she may become my full-time back-end, like, shipment person. And then the little one as well, she kind of just likes to have fun helping. I don't know where she'll fall eventually on wanting to actually work with me, but totally up to the children if they want it to be something they really get true pay for beyond, like, the fun money they get right now. Yeah, get up to 15 items. Prime listers here to stay. Even with my contract of working with them coming to an end, there won't be a renewal of that because I can't commit to any other outside companies. I need to just focus on me. I will continue to be an affiliate for them, like a regular affiliate, but not like a contractual sponsorship type person with them. And I will continue to say good things about them. And I think I'll actually do a full review on them once my contract's up so that you guys get a full idea of how the company works. All right, that is everything to keep you updated. I hope this video is insightful at what has been going on in my life and maybe relatable to some of you. And if that's the case, I just want to encourage you to keep going. You know, moms, women, and women period are superhumans, okay? We are amazing. The women can do so much. We have so much potential and skill and ability. And then we become mothers, and motherhood does challenge our ability to do those things, but it makes us even more amazing to be able to be a mom and do it. Like Beyonce says, bear the children, then get back to business. That's a big deal. And that's something only us women can do. So stay encouraged, keep going, find consistency. You'll eventually get there. But all right, that is just a video to catch you guys up on everything. And then coming soon are what sold videos and some hauls, hopefully in between baby time. So thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Feel free to watch this video here to see more on my channel. See you over in that video.